Good morning, 10th grade, and I wonder how your weekend went. Mine was pretty good. I really enjoyed Saturday, working outside. The weather was just great. Yesterday was okay. I enjoyed working. Oh no, studying. I don't know if you call it working, but yeah, I looked at your math a little bit. I didn't get it on Friday. Guess what? That kind of ruined my weekend a little bit because Sunday I was thinking, you know what? Before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I got to get this lesson figured out, and I have to get it recorded. So I had that hanging over my head that I wanted to get done Friday afternoon, and I was just wore out, and it just didn't come. So here I am. Got about 20 minutes yet, and I think I'll be able to get most of it done in time for 8 o'clock for you to start. So if you open your books, I am, I'm not exactly sure where I left off, but I think I'm ready for page 19. And most of this is instructions. 19, you just look specifically on page 19. It says multiply both sides of this equation by x negative x, and we have, and then you have in a little box there, right in the center of the page, you have x minus x m equals y minus y, or you can reverse it in y minus y equals m x minus x. Now that little formula didn't mean anything to me until I understood the lesson. So you don't just rush past that little box, okay? That little box is key to what we're doing, because these are the steps that we will be doing in today's lesson. And so I work model one. You can work model one if you want to help you out. Keep looking back at that little square box though on page 19. You can flip over to page 20. You got model two. You got fractions, working with fractions. Follow those along. That's how I learned how to do the lesson, was simply working out models 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're ready for page 21. And as you notice, I put 21 and 22 on the board. That's the work that you have to do, but I'm telling you, you will need to refer back to 18 and 19 a lot, because that's where you learn how to do this part here. The first part on 198, you were to look back and use the equation or the line graph on 1.54. So I did one of those. You figured that out, and if you did it correctly, you should have had M1. Okay? And then for the 2 points is 0 and 0. And I think the reason they use 0 and 0, they subtracted, you know how you were doing, putting x's here and subtracting the y's from the x's. And if you do that, you got 2 and 1 and 1 and 2. So when you subtract that, you come up with 0, 0. You worked out here for m. I put m right here. I put m at the 1 spot. Now I put the y0. I put him over here, y negative 0. And then for the x, I put the x0 negative 0. This one's extremely easy because they're all zeros. So you go 1 times x. Well, no, you subtract this from x, which there's nothing. And so 1 times x is 1x. So y equals 1x. Okay, you're supposed to go 1 times 0 too, but that's 0, so there's no need putting a 0 down here. Now you go y equals x. You say, what kind of answer is that? Well, that is the answer for 1.98 is y equals x. I'm going to come over and do the same problem again, same style problem on 111.02, drop down to 1.58. There I used your two formulas. You should have come up with a slope of negative 1/3 on problem 158. On problem 158 for 1102, 158, you should have a slope of negative 1/3. Now, you took the 0 and subtracted him from y, and you put the 4 down here, x negative 4. X, or 4 subtracted from x. So now this is in parentheses, you're ready to multiply 1/3 times x equals 1/3 x. 1/3 times 4 equals, now look, we got a negative 4 and a negative here, so that makes a positive 4/3. Watch that. It is, I don't know how many times I missed it. I had a negative and I shouldn't have had a positive. Especially if you have a negative in your slope. Watch that negative. He's going to come all the way down through here. And you'll have to keep working him back and forth, flipping it to get it right. Okay, now I'm back here. 1/3 x, 1/3 times 4 makes me 4/3 positive. And now I bring my 0. So I have, yeah, this was something that I should point out to you. If you have a 1 on top, it's 1/3 x. I don't know that it's wrong necessarily, but you should have x. You should put x in the top spot, x/3. This is negative x/3, positive 4/3. Yeah, there's your answer. Can you see this one? Let's do 111 yet. No, let me get you 2 more while we're at it. 111, you have a slope of m equals 2. And then you use the formulas 1 and 3, or the point. They have given you those in the book. And so you just simply put them right up here. I copied the problem. M is 2. So notice again I put the y, the 3 subtracted from y. And then I brought my 2 straight down. X subtract 1. Now I'm ready to multiply. 2 times x makes me 2x. 2 times negative 1 makes me negative 2. Okay? Now, I come over here to this side. I have y negative 3. I just brought it down to here. Now it's to eliminate always before these other problems, we just had 0 in that spot. When you have 0 in that spot, 0 from y is 0, you're just done. You can just stop. Now here, when you have negative 3, the way you isolate the y is to bring that 3 over here to this side. And when you cross, you see he's negative here? When you cross, it makes him a positive. When you cross the equal sign. So now simply you have to positive 3 and negative 2, you have to just combine those. It's not real hard on this problem. Now when you get in a fraction, it's a lot harder. So this here would make you positive 1. If you negative 2 and positive 3, combine those, you have subtract 2 from 3 makes you positive 1. So bring down your 2x, positive 1. So y equals 2x, positive 1. These problems right here are the best to work out. They're the easiest, they're the funnest, everything works out perfectly. But not all your problems are that way. Let's go to 117, or 1.117. That's the last one there on the page. You have a negative number, a negative slope, those and a fraction on top of that. That makes it all the harder yet. So, start out again. You're going to do the same thing. Y, always put the y over here. If you go back here and look at each one, you always put the y, subtracted the y. So now, oh, I didn't put that up there, the 8. I should have. You had negative 6 and 8. Negative 6 and 8 were your 2 points that you had on your line. So you put your y over here with y, put your negative 6 down here with negative 6. Now this problem here, watch out. You'll have a bunch more like this because I figured them and I know you do. So watch it. When you have a -6 and you put him inside the box, x subtract 6, and this is a negative, and your subtraction, I put the subtraction in parentheses, so guess what? That makes him +6. Negative, negative makes this a +6. So actually you have -2/3 x, and I did an extra step here, okay? So you have, I went 2/3 x, so okay, I did this right here. 2/3 times x makes you 2/3 x, and they put the x up here with the 2. It doesn't really matter where you put the x. If you want to put it right here in the middle, that's fine. Now go 2/3 times +6. I brought down here 2/3 times +6 equals -4. Okay, now you see how I got that? I went over here on the side. I went 2/3 negative times, because I was multiplying, times 6/1. So when I did that, so I had 3 and 2 6s is 18, and this was a negative. So 3 into 18. Oh, wait a minute here. How did I do that? 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 6 is 12. There we go. That's better. 12. And 3 into 12 makes me 4. There's where I got stuck. So you see how I got the -4? So now I have -4. I have -2/3 x, -4. Now, see what I'm talking about, all these negative numbers? Watch out. And now I bring my -8 over here. It makes him a +8. I combine -4 and +8, subtract 4 from 8, makes me +4. So my answer is y equals -2/3 x, +4. I'm not going to tell you how many times I worked this problem out on paper until I got the same answer that the book did. And you have more just like this. Okay, let's move on. My next problem is on the next page, 22. It's still the same type work. We're at 1.125, and instead of giving you the slope, now they give you the 2 points on the graph. So you have to first find the slope, and then work the other steps out. So from on page 22, from 1.25 to 1.39. That's about an hour and a half's work, unless you're faster at it than what I am, and you may be. I wondered if there wasn't some way we could push this in a calculator to make it go faster rather than working out, because I worked mine out, and out of the majority of mine, I had about half of them wrong. So, yeah, you have to concentrate and think, what am I doing? So you have the first one is 6 and 1, 5 and 4. So subtract those two. So 1 and 4, 6 and 5. Now, I don't know if you remember how to set them up or not. That's extremely important that you set them up correctly. You will take, the first one is a 4 and 5. You see that's the back number. And then you subtract the front ones. -1 from 4 makes you 3. And 6 from 5 makes you -1. You work that over, you have -3. Your slope is -3. Now move your -3 down here and put him in the equation right here, and do the same thing as what we've been doing over here. You have y -1. Use this first 1 and 6. Which is the first one in the block, to get this answer down here for your y. Okay, you got 1 and 6 And if you do get mixed up and use the second one, you'll get the same answer, so it doesn't really matter. But 1 and 6 is the easiest to use here. So you go 1, here's your slope. So I start over here, I always start over here on this side. Again, if you will take a note here, 3 times x is negative 3x, okay? 3 times 6, now here, I want you to take a little note that you have a 3 times 6 is 2 negatives, and you come up with a positive 18. Okay, so you got negative 3 times negative 6, you come up with positive 18. Now we're ready to, we multiplied times the x, now you bring your 1 over here, makes it positive 19, so it winds up with 3x positive 19. You add these two together. Just jump right straight across to the next column, and you got some down through there that are 0. Anytime you have a 0 in here or a 0 here, it really simplifies your things. You have to do a lot less work. But I left those for you. 1, 1, 3, 3 is the next one. It's the top one on the second column. Here I put them up again. If you have any questions, if you get into any binds, turn back and look at the proper way to set them up. And it comes to the point where, I'll tell you how this is. After you do enough of them, and the time you get this far, you automatically just zoom, 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 zoom. Put them in the right spot. You need to have that just drilled in you. You shouldn't have to think, am I setting this up right or am I setting it up wrong? No, it needs to be drilled here. That just comes automatic. So now you subtract 3 from 7, you got 4, and 7 from 3, whoa, won't go. Well, yeah, negative 4. Now divide, you have a fraction, divide 4 into 4 makes you 1 time, and you have to use a negative term. Okay, you got negative 1 for your slope. I don't like this peeping into the camera from the back side. Negative 1 for your slope. And you have x negative 7, so I use this one right here. X subtracted 7, and I use this 3 right here. Y subtracted 3. Okay, 1 times x is negative x. 1 times 7 negative negative will make you a positive 7. And now you bring the 3 over here and make him a positive 3. He was negative. Positive 3 and a positive 7 makes you a positive 10. Negative x, y equals negative x positive 10. I like those simple ones. But I thought I would do one more yet. This one here has no slope. The very next one, 1.134. And I don't know that you have many of them that say no slope. But when you figure it out and you come up with a 0 on the bottom, it's no slope. And you remember, if you come up with a 0 on top, it means that, oh, that's you tell me what that means. So, when you had no slope, when I subtracted 5 from 5, left me 0, 4 from 6, left me 2, it was no slope. And so, you didn't have a y. You don't have a y answer. So they just, and I don't know how they come up with this. It wasn't clear to me how they did that. But when you come up with no slope, you just simply put me the x value down. X equals 5. And that will tell you that on the x line, you go on the 5. On line 5 would be 5 positive. You go 5 positive, and you make a straight line. There's no slope. Yeah, I hope to go further than that, but I think that's all I'll get this morning. And then maybe tomorrow or later on today, I will try to get you page 24, 25, and maybe even do a few more. If you get page 23 and 24, you understand how to do that, you give me a call, tell me how, because I don't know how. I really wanted to do that with today's lesson. And in case I do put another video on later today, and it has today's date of 3:30, you know that will go with today's lesson. And if it says 3:31, well then that will be tomorrow's lesson. So you have a good one, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.